Today I want to show you my custom ambulances. This video was actually requested by a lady at the Doncaster Brickfest LEGO event that I went to a couple of weeks ago, who was very interested in these ambulances I had out in my city display. I promised I'd show her in detail how these ambulances go together, and that's what this video is going to do. So hopefully she's watching. If so, hi. Everyone else, you can actually just stop watching now, but subscribe so you can catch my upcoming videos. So I've made two of these, but I only had one 2x4 yellow roof tile brick that fits the ambulance sticker. So this one looks a little bit better. There's not much more to it than what you see really. There was a couple things I really wanted to achieve with this design. One was that it was very compact, but still big enough when compared to a car, for example, that it still looks van-sized, ambulance-sized. The second thing was that I wanted it to look like a UK ambulance, because LEGO used to only do their medical vehicles in white with red accents. Recently they have done that airplane, service truck and hovercraft mix and match set 60505, and that has a British colour scheme for the ambulance plane. You will find other MOCs out there that look even more like British ambulances, but they are usually 8 studs wide, and like I say, I wanted to keep it nice and small really. This is only 6 stud wide. Haven't even put any mirrors on just to keep it really compact. Inside there's a bed or stretcher and a seat for a paramedic. And that's it really. The back folds down for access for minifigures, but for humans, us big figs, we can access it through the side. Anyway, for the benefit of what should be the only viewer of this video, I'll start taking this thing apart. Okay, so this thing is in pieces now. Broken it down to the base, and I've kept things in sort of little sections so I can show you how that goes together. I'm actually very bad at building vehicles. This is one of the few vehicles I've built that I'm actually quite happy with. Yeah, I just really struggle with the shape and getting wheels in the right place, getting the lights and things in the right place, how to attach the bumpers and things like that. But yeah, like I say, this one turned out okay. Obviously, that one lady in Doncaster was very pleased with it as well. So there's 2 plate thickness for the base. It's 2 1x6 plates in the center there, a 2 stud gap for the wheels, and then 2 studs at the front and back. There's a lot of LEGO vehicles built like that. So hopefully you can see which plates are used there. And then for the interior, that's the amount of space that takes up in white there. And at the back, we just need some clips for this piece, that grey piece, that sort of trapdoor. Again, another 4x6 piece with the little clips on it. So it's a good job I've got 2 of these, so I can look at this one for reference while I'm reassembling this. I'll try and do this in an order that makes sense. So for the bumpers, front and back, already I'm looking at my other model for reference here. So this is the front one. The 2 studs that hang over the sides is where we can attach one of those snot bricks. I've got the light in there for the indicator, and then a little angled piece, cheese wedge, for the wheel arches. So I'm going to put that on top of there like that, and that is the front one, as you can see. At the back it's kind of similar, but this actually goes underneath like that, so that's a few different plates. If I can shine this in the light, you can see what plates make it at 1x6 across there, and that's got those pieces stood on. And what's nice about those is they've got the holes in the back as well, so you can attach the little plate in there for the light. I quite like the square light look as well. It's quite nice. So that sits underneath those. And again, it puts the cheese wedge at the same point at the back there as it does the front. This light's very useful. The sides, again, so I've got a plate that comes out all the way underneath there, and then there's these little gaps here, and that again is for the cheese wedges and the snot bricks to fit on. So again, you can see the construction of that, and that's just going to sit underneath there. So the base is actually quite thin, and I've done all that in black because I quite like the look of the sort of all black base there, and it's got those little highlights for the indicators and the brake lights and things. That leaves room underneath for the wheels. These are the big 2x4 axle pieces, and then these really skinny wheels fit in quite nicely. And I'm going to follow Lego's rule of not putting the wheels on until the end, I think. So for the front bumper now, it's just a 1x4 with studs on the side, and that sits right at the front. I also had another brick behind it there as well, just to fill in the space. This is what my bumper looks like. These parts you could swap out for however you want it to look. And that's going to be... Oh, how have I got it on this one? Yeah, it's above. Just like that. So that leaves us with a lot of space to fill in, because it's quite a tall bumper on that. Now to bridge these wheel arches, that's just a 1x4 plate. Another little connection point to round off with cheese wedges. That gives us a nice curved front. Same on the other side. I've also included a little blue 1x1 plate there, as well as a little one of the blue flashy lights. Now, the way that things are attached to the front is actually slightly complicated because there's not any studs on top. So I've put that there, and that's just to support some bricks that are going to come down from above. So now, this is actually slightly different when I'm building this one, but if we have this one for reference here as well. On your windscreen piece, which is one of these bigger ones, the ones that's 3 studs long by 6 studs across. Now obviously it's better if that can be the 1x4, sorry, the 2x4, so it can fit the ambulance sticker. But again, I mean, this just shows you can swap it out for anything. But as long as you get the roof tiles across there, and then I've got some jumper plates underneath, and they're attached with the offset. And then it's those roof tiles at the edge which connect to those studs at the front like that. And I quite like having the windscreen quite close to the front, and also I like that it's the same angle on those as well. I think that looks quite realistic. Now, I'm making a mistake here because we don't actually want that on, because we want to put some pieces underneath. So these are going to be the windows. Again, this is just another row of plates along the bottom here, and then it's this brick pattern. I've gone for this light blue and yellow because it was what I had and I was quite happy with it. I know that you can get that green colour that looks a little bit more realistic. And if you want to do that, that's fine, and that will look great. This is just what I had, and I was quite happy with it, so I kept it. I haven't put any doors on this, it's sort of all sealed in, but it wasn't something that bothered me. If it bothers you, then feel free to change this bit up. So that's the sort of exterior of the cab done. Inside, on that little yellow plate there, I've got the steering wheel, and that sits right up against the windscreen. It's just on a brick there. And then these are on a plate and a brick, and then it's cheese wedges with, I think these came out of an ambulance set, a little radio on that side of the driver, and one of those little maps showing them where to go on that side, and then the seat in there as well. So it's sort of got the front half. Now behind, very handy piece to use, just one of these big ones got off the Lego truck. Put that behind, and I had the hollow section facing towards where the patient would be, so that we can fit the seat back there and it can go into that space. For the roof above the cab, again, we've only got studs here and here, so it's a little bit tricky because this doesn't span all the way across, so everything's held together with this one tile, so it's a little bit fiddly. These pieces can go wandering a little bit, but I really like the sort of shape that it gives the cab roof. Okay, and then to get the roof on, I'm going to use these two little supports as well. Just on either side, I've got some brake lights underneath there. So like I said, this whole construction on this side is plate, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 bricks. Plate, 1, 2, 3, 4 bricks. And then the roof, just made of various plates. So it's 10 studs long, 4 studs wide, apart from at the very end, where it's 6 studs wide, so it can catch onto these. So that little lip there can sit in there between the blue lights, and then those two on the back, like that. I'm going to put the stretcher in now, so it'll be a little bit easier. Also got one of these, looks like a first aid kit or something. I've just got those resting on the stretcher for now. The back door piece, so again, if you've got one of these pieces, very handy. You could do it in other ways with different clip pieces. That can go on like that. I've put these on so that it just covers that gap, so you can see that yellow piece still even when it's closed. Unfortunately, there is a tiny little gap at the top there. I'm sure that could be rectified with some Lego maths that I can't be bothered to do. You can only have a 1x3 there though, it can't go all the way up, otherwise it doesn't close properly. And then at the bottom as well here, so it's tempting to tile all of this. If I had these sloped pieces, I've got that angle on them, in yellow I would use them. It would look better than the black there. I like the sort of warning and another ambulance sticker on the back there, more brake lights. Unfortunately, you can't put anything on these studs here because that space is actually used when it turns. It's going to be difficult to show on the camera, but so it could get to there, sort of horizontal, but if you want it to go all the way down, then that space does get used, so you can't put anything on those studs, unfortunately, if you're doing it this way with these particular pieces. And then that's it, it's just the sides on now. So again, like I say, row of plates, 4 studs tall. I had these nice pieces here, but again, you could use anything. You could use cheese wedges if you want. Click those on, and they bridge the gap. These are quite nice, just sort of obscuring a view in. Obviously, what's happening inside an ambulance doesn't necessarily need to be seen by the world. So it sort of looks a bit more ambulance-y with those on the windows as well. I think I just bought some sticker sheets for a hospital or ambulance set or something. And then, yeah, the wheels on the bottom. see, there we go. I've accidentally poked the roof in. That's what can happen. It's quite annoying. But I'm not normally messing around with this too much. It's just for looking at, really, for me. So I quite like the way that looks. If you wanted that to be sturdier, you could use some plates going all the way across. I just didn't like that it raised the roof up a bit. So, but yeah, if anybody does build something like this, send me a picture of it. I'd love to see. But there we go. That's my version of a British ambulance in Lego. Thank you very much for watching. If you are the person that wanted this video, please comment. That would be lovely to hear from you again. And like I say, subscribe to the channel, stick around. I've got some Lego ideas things going on at the moment, and I've got some videos going through those at the minute. I've got more city buildings and vehicles and things I'd like to show you all as well. Thanks for watching.